Hello everyone, so today we're going to discuss what is lead generation. So lead generation is the process of finding people or leads who are likely to become your customers immediately or in the future. Finding people implies finding information about people like their name, email address, or organization's name, all of which you can use to initiate a business relationship with them. You can generate leads organically and/or by spending money depending on your resources. So ito yung proseso kung paano kayo makakahanap ng mga tao, yung tinatawag nating leads, na pwede maging customer ng client nyo as a work from home or a virtual assistant. So finding people, kailangan hanapin nyo yung information nila like their name, email address, yung company name nila, yung phone number, para maging customer sila in the future. Now, big businesses or small, kahit B2B yan or B2C, B2B it means it's business to business, or B2C, business to customer or to consumer. Every business depends on leads. So if you're a salesperson, you're always on the lookout for more leads. If you're a marketer, you're discovering new ways to generate them. So generating leads is not easy, and it's not rocket science either. In this course, we will take a deep dive into every aspect of lead generation. Now, broadly speaking, there are two channels of lead generation, inbound and outbound. The inbound method involves a proactive attempt to reach out to your audience, and this usually begins with purchasing lead list. You can then contact these leads by calling them directly, yung tinatawag nating cold calling, or sending them physical mails or direct mail. For a wider reach, businesses look beyond lead list and use billboards, print ads, television ads, and radio ads. The emphasis here is on budget, media connections, and how much marketing muscle you can flex. In outbound lead generation, your pitch is quite apparent and there are no efforts made to educate your audience. So ito yung tinatawag natin na outbound lead generation. If you have seen, for example, sponsored ads or billboards, or let's say may product or may item na gusto kayong bilhin, nakita nyo lang sa Facebook. So if you have questions, it's like a one-way communication. Hindi nyo agad matanong yung mga questions nyo since it is a sponsored ads or yung pitch ng ads na yon, wala siyang more information to educate yung lead or yung audience nila. So that is outbound lead generation. Now for inbound method attracts leads using online content. You can then create a website or you can write a blog and you optimize it for online search through SEO or yung tinatawag natin na search engine optimization techniques. This means that the content has the appropriate keywords and answers the questions your target audience is asking. When your content is easily discoverable and begins to engage your readers, they become your leads. Depending on how you interact with them, from then on, they become your customers too. In inbound lead generation, you educate your target audience through a carefully planned content strategy. And this takes time and involves very little budget spent. So mas malaki yung budget na kailangan for outbound lead generation compared to inbound method. Now, let's dive into a lead. I've discussed this before. Lead generation, again, is the action or process of identifying and cultivating potential customers for a business products or services. And a lead, ito yung term for a person who has shown interest in your product or service in some way, shape, or form. However, he or she is not yet really set on making a purchase. So that means you'll need to educate and nurture them so that he or she will become a customer. Now let's take a look at this comparison between outbound and inbound lead generation. For outbound lead generation, usually it interrupts leads. A perfect example of this is when you're browsing Facebook and suddenly you will see in your news feed that you have a sponsored ad for a resort or a place that you've never been to or you've never heard of. So you were interrupted in your browsing in your timeline, right? You were a lead for that sponsored ad. Now, for inbound lead generation, usually it attracts leads. You're the one looking for, our lead is looking for a content, or for example, a video on YouTube. Let's say I'm looking for the best vlogging camera in 2020, and I search for that keyword or I search for that term, vlogging camera in 2020 on YouTube, and a lot of videos would come up. Now, for outbound lead generation, communication is usually one way. As for inbound lead generation, communication is two-way. Now, for outbound lead generation, primary motive is to sell. The marketing intent is explicit. So you would not see sponsored ads on Facebook, on Instagram, or on YouTube. Usually you would be targeted and they would be selling a product or their service. While for inbound lead generation, the primary motive is to educate. The marketing intent is subtle. And for outbound lead generation, budget is king. And for inbound lead generation, content is king. So mahalaga yung content pagdating sa inbound lead generation, whereas outbound lead generation, you need to have a huge budget for ads, for marketing, and budget is king for outbound lead generation. Then the business decides when and how to engage with audience for outbound lead generation, whereas for inbound, the audience decides when and how to engage with the business. Let's say I'm looking for a specific topic or I'm looking for a specific software and I check that the blog or the website of that platform of that software. Kapag nag-subscribe ako sa newsletter nila or when I put my information in there, that's when I decide that I will engage with that business. Whereas for outbound, yung business yung nagde-decide when and how to engage with the audience. Then the channels of engagement include cold calls, direct emails, print media, billboards, and conference. That is for outbound lead generation. Whereas for inbound, efforts are concentrated around the digital domain. Content extends across text, images, video, and audio. So more on the content itong inbound lead generation compared to outbound lead generation, which is one way, and the target or generating target at the masses. Whereas for inbound, it's more personalized for specific audience segments or demographics. So that's pretty much it about what is lead generation and the two channels of lead generation. See you in the next video.